Hi, I'm Dad the Engineer. Today I'm going to drill into SpaceX's Starlink ownership experience. If you've already seen my video comparing different internet connectivity options, including Starlink, this video is going to be a deeper dive. If you missed that video, you should check it out through the link in the description below. The buzz surrounding Starlink's availability may lead you to believe that SpaceX was the first to the party with satellite internet connectivity. In reality, residential satellite internet connectivity has been around since at least 1996, with various kinds of satellite backhaul existing for decades before that. There's been some consolidation in the market, but the old players in the US are HughesNet and Viasat. The main differentiator is structural, as SpaceX has opted to create a massive constellation of low Earth orbit satellites for its service. Clearly, it's a huge advantage to have the synergy of the company also being one of the premier heavy-lift satellite launchers in the world. Viasat and HughesNet, on the other hand, use geostationary satellites at a far greater altitude. Because numbers are fun, I'm going to mention that Starlink has about 7,000 satellites, though it's unclear how many of them are tasked with providing service to the US. Viasat and HughesNet have 3 main satellites each. Their satellites are about 22,000 miles away from Earth, while Starlink satellites are about 340 miles away. That differential in distance is huge as it relates to the latency in the transmission. You can think of this distance as being multiplied by 4 for a normal round trip of a request and its response. Starlink can have some satellite-to-satellite transmission, but it's still a fraction of the distance of higher Earth orbit satellites. Typical Starlink latency is about 20 to 50 milliseconds, while Viasat and HughesNet commonly have 550 to 800 millisecond latency. That's fine for some activities, but it's not well suited for real-time two-way communication via voice or video like Zoom or Teams. It's also not great for networked gameplay. Once data is flowing, though, continuous transfers tend to stack up like this. While all 3 providers may have connectivity options faster than this, I'm just focusing on the packages that are likely to be selected for residential use. Starlink's infrastructure is much better suited for scalability, and that's reflected in their data plans and speeds. Generally speaking, Starlink offers unlimited use, while Viasat and HughesNet mostly have capped plans. Viasat has started offering an unlimited plan that squarely targets Starlink, both in terms of its lack of data caps, as well as not requiring a contract. If getting the lowest price is your only concern, some of Viasat's offerings undercut Starlink. Assuming cost isn't your only criterion, I'm going to focus on Starlink for the rest of the video. Once you've made the decision to get Starlink, obtaining it is as simple as signing up on their website. At the time of this video's production, the service is $120 a month and residential hardware is $349 plus shipping and tax. It is possible that you'll be told that Starlink is sold out in your area. Technically, you have satellites overhead, but SpaceX has made the determination that they need more satellites covering your area before they will allow more subscribers. There are ways around this, but it's worth noting that bypassing the oversold barrier won't improve your bandwidth or latency. Here's what the map looks like right now. Currently, the waitlist mostly applies to heavily populated areas in the western US, including Austin, San Diego, Portland, Seattle, and Sacramento. Increasing the constellation of Starlink satellites, possibly getting the FCC to grant access to more frequency bands, and improving backhaul speeds will help alleviate the waitlist backlog. This should also improve performance for everyone. Once you've received your equipment, you will need to set it up. Mounting the Starlink antenna is obviously easiest if you have your own residence. That said, there are various types of mounts, some of which are well suited for use on a balcony or off on the side of an exterior wall. If you don't have a completely unobstructed 360-degree view of the sky from wherever your antenna is mounted, Starlink will most likely still work, but may not be as fast if the optimal satellites can't be sighted. My equipment consists of the standard actuated dish and router, and is a bit older than the Gen 3 equipment that is shipping now. Either way, my advice is the same. Unless you're living in a very small place, I would recommend turning off the built-in Wi-Fi and setting the device into bridge mode to bypass the built-in router. Depending on what equipment you get, you may need to get a separate Ethernet dongle. You see, it doesn't really matter how good your internet connectivity is if you can't make the most of it. The best way to do this is to attach as many of your devices to your LAN as you can with Ethernet. For Wi-Fi, use quality wireless access points connected with Ethernet, properly placed within your coverage area. If you care about performance, try to avoid Ethernetless wireless mesh networking. I have a couple closing thoughts reflecting on over a year's Starlink service. Weather can affect your Starlink experience. My Unify equipment has notified me of connection quality and outage conditions with my Starlink during severe weather. Generally, outages are measured in seconds. Degraded performance comes in the form of increased latency and decreased bandwidth, presumably due to retries. In my opinion, Starlink is a really good internet connectivity provider for residences that have no other options. It's also a fantastic choice for connection failover. If you aren't in one of those use cases, though, performance and cost are generally not competitive with cable or fiber. SpaceX has mentioned that they're eventually targeting 2 gigabit per second speeds. If they accomplish that goal, Starlink may become a viable alternative for customers that have other options available. If you found this video to be helpful, please like and subscribe as I get this thing going. If you would like to contribute some feedback, please engage with me in the comments below. If, like me, you're a little old school, please check out my website, linked in my bio. Thanks, and have an awesome day.